Hey everybody, I am Stacy, the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. And I'm still a little bit sick, you guys. Thank you so much for all the thoughts and prayers. This week I haven't worked too much, but I did not want to cancel another live, and I'm doing a little bit better today. So I haven't worked all week though. So we're just going to prep this, and we're going to talk about everything we need to do to prep. So just say hey if you're popping on, where you're watching from. And just bear with me tonight because, like I said, I'm still a little bit slow from this week. But to start off, I want to show you guys the stool we worked on last week with the flower child transfer. Since I was sick, I didn't get to stage it and post it. But it's right over here. So this is just how the top ended on it. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. I've already put the Big Mama's butter and everything on the inside. But it turned out beautiful. Let me hold it up. So vibrant. I love these colors. Hey, Karen, how are you? Yes, I'm doing a little bit better. My headache at least broke, so that's a good thing. I can at least focus a little bit. So I see some people popping on. Just say, hey, where you're watching from. I know, I love that flower child transfer. So beautiful. But tonight, like I said, we're going to prep this. And by the way, Monday, we'll be back with our retro peacock on the vanity over here as well. But tonight we're going to prep this piece and we're going to get it ready for next week. We're going to be using the new Buds and Branches transfer from the Top Drawer RVA. Let me just show you guys this. It's so cute. So while I was sick this week, I was actually binge watching Netflix, and I was watching a lot of like British miniseries shows. And the furniture, I just... You know, every time I watch TV, I look at the furniture in the background and the decor. And so I wanted to do something with a more modern look. I was getting inspired while I was sick. So we are actually, that's where I got this piece from. But check out this Buds and Branches transfer. So pretty, so vibrant. I'm just loving all the new Dixie Belle transfers. But that's just one page. And we're going to put these on the front of this piece back here. But that won't be until next week because tonight, like I said, we're going to talk about how to prep your piece, how to get started. So let me just throw this transfer away. Well, not throw it away, but put it away. Like I said, you guys, I'm still not feeling too hot, so I might be a little off tonight, but I didn't want to cancel again. So we're going to start off. The first thing that you want to do if you're getting ready to redo a piece of furniture or even just like some small home decor items, something like that, you always want to clean your piece. I mean, there's just no question about that. That's always where you start. And so there is a cleaner that's specifically made for prepping to paint. And from Dixie Mud, we carry White Lightning, which is a TSP-based solution. It deglosses as well as it'll get any grease, grime, like just dirt off your piece. So this, from Dixie Mud, this little container, it makes about 8 gallons. And it lasts forever. But it makes about 8 gallons. It's only $5.95. You can buy a TSP formula from like Lowe's or something like that. But just for, you know, a size like this, it's like $13. And this is going to make 16 of these. So definitely a great value if you frequently redo furniture or even if you're just doing one piece. Excuse me, I think I got something in my eye here. So we're actually going to mix some of this up tonight because I have some, this is all I have left. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to go ahead and mix it. I'm going to go ahead and drop you guys down so you can see what I'm doing. This is a half-gallon Windex container that I always use to mix my TSP in. And it's just full of water currently, so that I could be ready for the live. So I'm going to go ahead and drop you down so you can see what I'm doing. So the white lightning, it comes in a little powdery, well, like a little crystally kind of powder form here. And it is 2 teaspoons to every 1 gallon of water. So I'm actually working with a half gallon here. So I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon. And I generally keep this mixed up so that I've always have some. You know, and I paint furniture all the time. You can see how much I have left. I've actually heard someone say this makes 16 gallons. This is almost 2 years that I've been using the same, oops, that's a half teaspoon, this same container. But that I've been using this same container. So it does last a really, really long time. This is a half a teaspoon, or a half a tablespoon, excuse me, right here. And sometimes I do put a little bit more in. You can mix it up stronger. It just depends kind of on how dirty my piece is there. Back up a little bit. This is my little dog Scarlet here. She's very inquisitive. Right before the lives, I try to bribe her with a treat. Stay out of there. Definitely not good for pets, but I've just got my, I've got a little funnel here that I'm using so I don't spill it everywhere. So when you read the directions on the container, you can actually mix it up in a bucket as well, but I find it lasts longer this way. But you can mix it up in a bucket and just use a rag to wash it that way. But you just want to shake it up really well so that it's nice and mixed up and all of those little crystals dissolve. And you guys, if I miss any comments tonight, I'm trying to watch them, but if I do miss anything, I'll go back after the live. But that's it. So you can see it just looks kind of like a cloudy liquid. And then, like I said, I keep these in my Windex bottles. So you can actually make, what does that make here? It's like 32 Windex bottles from this little container. So it goes forever. So we're going to go ahead and start prepping. I'm going to pop you guys up a little bit. I do get these little, so you can use several different things, but I tend to get these little scrubby pads from the dollar store. They come in like a pack of 5. I just cut them in half. And this is a pretty clean piece. It is laminate though, so I want to be sure that I don't get a whole lot of moisture. I don't have any entry points. I'm going to show you on the front because I've already prepped that. But this is all nice and solid. None of the moisture is going to get up under the laminate and cause it to bubble. Sorry, I'm trying to get you guys straightened out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray this on. And this is our TSP. Just want to make sure I cover it pretty well. I've already done the 2 front legs, but I'm going to go ahead and get these back ones. I want to make sure that I don't spray it on any painted furniture as well, because it can take the paint off. But I'm just going to scrub this side down really well. Scrub these legs. I mean, this is a really quick process. So once I've got it scrubbed off, I want to go ahead. I'm going to use paper towels for this part. I just want to go ahead and get the excess residue off here. And you can see, so this is laminate, but I kind of suspect that someone did a little bit of spray painting on here. I'm not really sure, but some of that black finish is coming off. But we're just going to wipe the excess off. And I am going to go back. You do want to rinse it with water. And I'm going to go back and do that. Whoops. Turn this around. Well, we're just going to do it with it sideways like this. I'll get it back on the wheels in a second. So I wanted to show you guys this. There's a little sticker up here. And you know, it's not peeling off very well. So I just kind of try to soak that really well in the white lightning. You can also use Goo Gone for this. I do use that sometimes as well. You just want to make sure you clean it off really good. So I'll need to let that part soak a little bit before it fully comes off. But we're just going to scrub down this back side. And again, the laminate's in really good shape. I normally don't paint laminate pieces, but I love the shape of this piece. And it's a well-made laminate piece too. So just scrub this down. And then we're going to go back again with the paper towel. Wipe it down. And I'm not rinsing with water yet. I'm going to go ahead and squirt some more of this white lightning on here to let that work a little bit and rinse it off. And I'm going to go ahead and spin this around. I've got my drop cloth down because I like to have that drop cloth to absorb the water some. Otherwise, this is a really messy process. So this is the last side that we're going to clean here. And then we're going to talk about kind of our next steps in just a second. So you just want to scrub it down well. If you have a lot of cracks or corners or anything like that, you can use like a toothbrush to make sure that you get all that dust and debris out. If you paint over that dust and the debris, the paint is only sticking to the dust. So over time, after that dust, which isn't stuck to your surface, comes loose, then your paint will start to fail and it'll start coming away from your piece. So that's one reason why cleaning is so important. But you can see all the black coming off of here. So this is not a bleeding issue though with this black coming off that you would get like with wood where you have the tannins that bleed through. And we'll talk about that in a minute here. So now that I've got these sides washed, we're just going to go ahead and rinse them with water. And that's all I have in this squirt bottle is just plain water. You want all this residue off. If you have residue left on here, it can cause an issue with your paint sticking as well. So now when I wash this off with the water, I do use some shop towels. Sorry. I do use some shop towels because these are lint-free. So I want to make sure I'm not leaving any little fuzzies on here that will show up in my paint job. Just making sure that I get the legs nice and rinsed off as well. We're going to roll this around. Hopefully I can. All right, so back here, let's see how well this is being worked off here. So it's still having some issues coming off. I've got a little paint scraper. You do want to be careful if you're trying to scrape laminate though. Probably want to use some Goo Gone on here. You do want to be careful if you're scraping laminate because you can scrape through and you'll get a very textured surface underneath here, which you can paint, but you can have some bubbling issues. So you want to be careful as far as that's concerned. So I've got quite a bit of this off, but I'm actually, let me see if I can go ahead and scrub the rest of this off here. And this is just the back. Normally I would not paint the back. But in this case, and I won't make it really pretty, but in this case I'm going to paint the back because this is more like a finished back. So I've got all that excess off there. Actually, I've got a little bit more. But the white lightning does loosen it up. Just want to make sure that there's no more sticky residue on here. Good. And we've got that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just rinse the back and the sides, and then we'll talk about priming. I did get some of that TSP on the side, so I'm going to rinse that off as well. So everybody's so quiet tonight, you guys. Where's everybody watching from? How's your week been? I pretty much spent my week on the couch. Let's see. Just want to make sure you dry it off really well, especially since we're dealing with laminate. And then just one more side to rinse off with the water. So that's it for cleaning the piece, which is always the first step. So the next step is, do you have any repairs that you need to do? Or do you need to prime it, or are you just ready for paint? So in this case, this is laminate. So anytime you're working with laminate, mirrors, glass, countertops, anything like that, plastic especially, you're going to want to use Slick Stick as a primer. And this is a bonding primer. And it's what's going to make your paint stick to this surface. Since it is such a shiny surface, you cannot do a scuff sand on it. Well, you can, but again, with laminate, there's a big issue with potentially going through the laminate, so you definitely want to use a bonding primer on it. We do have another type of primer as well, which is called Boss, and that's for blocking stains. Things like tannins that come from wood will bleed through your paint. You can get like that yellow look under white. In that case, you wouldn't want to use Slick Stick. You would want to use our blocking primer, which is the Boss. It also blocks odors and stuff like that. You typically do not need both, because if you are painting a very slick surface, there's really no general chance of bleed through on there. Even if it's like a really, how some furniture, wood furniture has that glass-like finish on it or protectant. In that case, you can either sand it, or you can also use Slick Stick on it. So a lot of times if I'm being lazy and I don't feel like sanding, I will Slick Stick a piece like that. But the finish has to be really intact for me to do that. So if you want to switch out the hardware, you can use Dixie Mud. It comes in black, brown, and white. We're going to be using black tonight. I am not going to fill in the hardware holes, but I am going to keep this mirror intact as kind of a frame around our final design. And there is a little chip down here in the glass. So I do want to go ahead and fill that. And I wanted to do that live with you guys so you can see how that's going to work. I'm filling this because this is such a small area down here that I can come in. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to come in with silver, because this has some like mercury glass kind of look. But if not, Dixie Belle doesn't sell it, but you can get a mercury glass from like a craft store. So I can just put that in the, over where I'm filling it here, and it'll look just like the glass. So what I'm doing, you can kind of see how this looks. This is Dixie Mud. It's equivalent to like a wood filler. It is drillable, paintable, all that good stuff. You do store it in the fridge, and you do store it in the fridge. You don't want to wash it down your drain. So what I'm actually going to do, and I realized today I was out of sandwich bags. Oh, hey, Gina, how are you? So I'm using kind of an old one. You can see I did it on this side with the white Dixie Mud, but we're going to be using black. So this is such a small space that we're going to fill. All I'm doing is taking a little bit of the Dixie Mud and putting it into the bag over here. And I'm going to squeeze it down into the corner. And all I'm going to do is cut off a little tip. I'm making a piping bag. And I find it's the easiest to apply this way. Only my scissors, there we go. My scissors weren't cutting it. I find it's really easy to apply this way. So all I'm going to do is just bring this up to the tip. And then fill this little spot in right here. Make sure you guys can see. And I'm just going to use my finger to kind of make sure that it's nice and filled in. It does get a little bit of shrinking with this. I'll shape it up once it dries. You will have a little bit of shrinking with this, so I generally try to overfill. Sorry. I generally try to overfill a little bit to account for that, and that way I only have to fill once. But that's it. It is going to dry gray. And we're working with laminate, so specifically I wanted to show you guys this. I did have a little spot over here that was a little chip. The laminate was chipping off, and I don't want to get any moisture in there. So what I did was, before we came on earlier today, I filled it a little bit with the Dixie Mud. Now I'm using just a piece of the super fine or very fine on the rad pad, which is also available through Dixie Belle. And I'm just going to smooth that down. All right. So all I did was smooth that down very gently. And now I want to seal it because I do not want any moisture to get in there, particularly under my laminate. I don't want it to bubble when I paint. So I'm just going to use a tiny bit of gator hide. And you guys, so Dixie Belle's been out of gator hide for quite a while. You know what? Like I said, I'm sick tonight. I completely forgot to tell you guys. If you are local, I'm an elite Dixie Belle retailer in Ardmore, Alabama at the Rustic Willow. I still have my location in Madison as well. And I'm also a Redesign with Prima retailer and content creator. I just thought of that midway through. All right, so a retailer in Texas actually sent me some gator hide. So blessed. Dixie Belle has been out. That's her name. It's spelled S-E-W blessed. If you guys are in need of gator hide. Dixie Belle has been out for months. Most of us retailers are out of the gator hide. The raw materials have been stuck in port for quite some time. So it's probably, I hate wasting my gator hide, but that's probably a little bit too much because what I want to do is just go over this place so I can create a block. So whenever I go to paint, it is not going to, it won't reactivate this mud and it will not be able to get down into that crack or crevice. And gator hide is water repellent. I just want to make sure I don't have any brush strokes or anything in there. I want to make this a nice smooth piece. On the inside, there's some drips and stuff like that from the last person. But that's it. I just wanted to go ahead and seal that off. And I should have actually used my tack cloth to take off the dust, but I really didn't have a lot there, so I'm not too worried about it. So now we are actually going to go ahead and prime this piece with some Slick Stick. Like I said, this is the bonding primer. So let's say you have like a frame and you have glass and you want to make a chalkboard. Slick Stick, you can make your own chalkboard with that. You just Slick Stick the mirror first and then you can put it on. So lots of uses for this Slick Stick other than just the furniture. I probably use it more on small decor items than I really do on furniture. So I'm not going to start on the front here because I've got this filled, and I just went ahead and put the gator hide on there. Once you create this seal with the gator hide, you do want to let it fully dry before you start painting so it's effective. So we're just going to go ahead, and I won't prime this whole piece with you guys live. Just because that would get kind of boring for you, I'm sure. But, oh, hey, Lori. So this is it. We've just got some slick stick poured out. You want to stir, shake it really well, depending on if you have a jar. If they're in a jar, I usually stir them to get all that sediment off the bottom. But, you know, with my little FIFO bottles here, I just shake them up really well. So just a little bit of paint. One thing about this is whatever brush strokes you get in this primer, you will also have in your finished product. So I do like to use a synthetic brush, and I do go in multiple directions too because I like to really thin this out. I want to make sure you guys can see well and I'm not blocking the camera. I like to really thin this out, but my last strokes are very light up and down. And you do use 2 coats of the slick stick. It looks terrible when I put it on, but I do like it to be very thin. But you do want to do 2 coats of it, and you're going to wait about 1 to 2 hours between each coat. And then at minimum, you want to let it sit overnight before you actually paint it once you've got the priming on. So like I said, I am smoothing this out going in multiple directions because I like this to be nice and thin. I don't want to see any brush strokes in here. And what you're seeing, these aren't brush strokes. This is just where it's a little bit thicker in some spots than others. When you do this, it looks horrible. But you know, a lot of times your piece looks worse before it gets better. So I just want to make sure it's nicely smoothed. And those last strokes are just very light. I'm going to fill that spot in a little bit. These last strokes are just very, very light. And I typically will go in a cross method to smooth it out. A lot of people are very heavy-handed with this. You will get brush strokes if you're really heavy-handed with this primer. And actually, if you're going to be doing a textured piece, that's great. You don't really have to thin it out this thin. But like I said, I'm going for a more smooth, elegant, modern look on this whenever I get done. So kind of Art Deco-ish maybe. Something like that. But this is it. We're just going over this until we get the whole thing done. Do a second coat. And then you're ready to paint. And I'll bring you guys in so you can kind of see how it looks up close. But it goes on very smooth, easy application. You do want to wash it out of your brush immediately because it's a bonding primer. So it's going to also bond to your brush. Like I said, you can do glass with this, plastic, anything. Because, you know, paint will stick to glass. But no matter, even if it's been 6 months, I could use a foam roller as well. I just never paint with a roller. I don't know what it is. I just like my brush. But yes, it would go on much faster with a roller. You can also spray this on as well. And usually I'm a little faster, to be honest. But like I said, I'm not feeling too hot tonight. So I just didn't want to cancel another live. So I definitely wanted to Just wanted to come on and do this here. This is it, you guys, and I am not going to keep you on. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up tonight. So if I missed any comments, I will go back and check. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, but I won't keep you guys on because, like I said, this is really simple, and I'm just going to quickly get it done here. I don't think you want to hang out with me for 45 minutes. Thanks, Gina. Hopefully I will be. I started getting symptoms Monday, but at least the headache and my fever are gone now, so just tired and, you know. I tried to take my medicine strategically so, you know, the decongestant would help during the live. But like I said, I will be on Monday on the Chalk 101 page. Hopefully I'll be feeling better and have it together a little bit. I was afraid to work on the transfer and put the retro peacock on the vanity when I wasn't feeling good, because I want to, you know, when you're working with the transfers, you want to make sure that you get them right the first time. So I didn't trust myself enough to try to do that live tonight. I needed something easy and simple. But I'm going to go ahead and jump off, you guys. Again, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. And thank you so much again for all your thoughts and prayers this week to feel better. But you guys take care. Have a great night. And again, I'll be live Monday at 6 on Chalk Paint 101. Thanks. Take care.